Lesson 14 in Module 4 is on the graph of linear equations, but a specific graph, horizontal and vertical lines. Now we know that linear equations, the graph is going to be a line, a straight line. But what about horizontal and vertical lines? So let's just do what we've been doing. Let's jump in and let's see what our graph looks like. Okay, so it says find at least 4 solutions to the graph of the linear equation 1x plus 2y equals 5. Okay, at least 4. I'll be honest, I'm only going to do 3. I don't think you guys will mind that much. Okay, so I am going to make an input-output table. And there's got to leave some room, okay? Because we're going to have to figure out some stuff. Okay, so here's my x values. And then I'm going to plug in for my x here. 1x plus 2y equals 5. And then I'll get my y values out. So let's say I put a 0 in. So right here, for x, I'm putting a 0 in. So I'm going to go 0 plus 2y equals 5. 0 means nothing. That's an equal sign there, sorry. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. And I'm going to get y equals 5.5, or I'll just change to a decimal, 2.5. All right, then I'll switch colors here. Let's say I pick 1. So I'm going to plug 1 in here, and that's 1 times 1, which we know is going to be 1, plus 2y equals 5. So 1 plus 2y equals 5. Now, knowing what we know about solving equations, we're solving for our y term, excuse me. So I'm going to get rid of this 1. I'm going to subtract it. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. That cancels out to 0. I get 2y equals 4. 2 times what number equals 4? 2. I'm just going to leave it as that. You could divide both sides, but let's do one more. Let's just do 2. So now I'm going to plug it in here. 1 times 2 plus 2y equals 5. So 2 plus 2y equals 5. Subtract 2 from each side. That cancels out to 0. I get 2y equals 5 minus 2, or 5 plus negative 2, which is 3. Divide both sides by 2. 3 over 2 is just 1.5. Okay. Okay. So now we have these ordered pairs. 0, 2.5. So 0 left to right. And then I'm going to go up 2.5. About right there. This is the point 1, 2. So 1, 2, and then I have 2. I did not pick good numbers, sorry. I should have spread them out a little more, but that's okay. 2, 1.5. It'll serve our purpose. All right, and then we draw a line through it representing all the x's and y's you could have taken. So we draw a nice long line. Really important to make a nice long line through this. Sorry, I, again, should have spread out my numbers a little more, but it's okay. All right, so that is what graph of our linear equation looks like. Straight line, no big deal. That's what we've been doing. All right, so now let's take a look at our next one here. It's going to look a little different. Well, it looks really similar with the exception of the coefficient of our y. And this is 2y, and then this is 0y. So, again, I'm only going to find 3 solutions. All right, so x, this time it's 1 times x plus 0 times y equals 5, and then we get our y terms out. So let's put a 0 in. So I'm going to go 1 times 0 plus 0 times y equals 5. Well, 1 times 0 is 0, and 0 times y is going to be 0. And you know what? 0 times plus 0 just does not equal 5. Let's put a 1 in. 1 times 1 plus 0 times y equals 5. So this is 1 plus 0 equals, that's not true either. Okay, something is not quite right here. Well, what we're seeing is this is 0 times y. So 0 is always going to, it's always going to be 0. Okay, there's y is going to be gone. So if y is gone in all of this, well, let's try it. Let's put a number in for y. Let's put a 1 in for y. So if I do that, I get 1 times x plus 0 times 1 equals 5. Well, that cancels out, and I'm left with x just equals 5, right? What if I put a 2 in? Guess I am finding 4 solutions. And I'm going to go 1 times x plus 0 times 2 equals 5. That cancels out. I'm left with x equals 5. I'm getting a feeling here that no matter what I put in, x is going to equal 5. So if I have these points here, 5, 1, 5, 2, I'd put a 3 in. Guess what? X would still be 5. We're getting a vertical line through 5, through our x equal to 5. All right, so that's going to be a hint as we move on here what we're going to see happens. But it says, what was different about the equations in exercise 1 and exercise 2? Well, we saw they're very, very, very similar. 1x plus 2y equals 5, 1x plus 0y equals 5. So the difference was our y term. It was 0 times y. And if it's anything times 0, will always be 0. So what effect did it have on the graph? Well, when we have this one here, this 1x plus 0y equals 5, that's always going to be gone. All we're left with that is x equals 5. And if we have x equals 5, it's going to be a vertical line, as we saw on the graph. Vertical line. So if our y is 0, it's going to be a vertical line. Okay? And as we move on, you're going to see that if it's 0x, it's probably going to be a horizontal line. So our focus today is on when do we have these horizontal and vertical lines.